I'm Ann Fishman with EHR TV, and I have the honor of sitting with Hector Barreto, and he has quite a very interesting background. He was the longest-serving administrator in
SBA history.
SBA history.
Second longest serving administrator, but it felt like the longest.
He was the administrator for the Small Business Administration under President Bush. He is now the chairman of the Latino Coalition. He is in private business. Hector, thank you so much.
Thank you.
I would like to know your view on what must be done in healthcare reform as we are at this very important moment in history. It's the most debated topic, I think, this year.
Well, everybody admits now that the system needs reform, and I don't think anybody would dispute that. Now, there's a lot of different proposals that are out there, and I was heartened by the president's conference that he did recently in Washington with all of the major stakeholders, especially in the government, that were there. And one of the things that he said, which I think was a positive thing, was that there is a lot of agreement on about as much as 80% of what they're proposing right now. And so hopefully what will happen is that we can coalesce around that 80%. You know, that old saying is that let's not let the good be the perfect be the enemy of the good. So we're close, and that's one of the things that the president has said, and I think a lot of legislative leaders said. So I hope that we don't miss this opportunity to really do something. Obviously, millions of Americans are going to benefit from any kind of reform that we do. And I'm particularly interested in the effect on small business, because obviously that was something that I was very involved with and still am very involved with. And we know that a lot of small businesses are struggling to be able to maintain their health care coverage. Some of them are losing it. So, you know, business is critically important to creating those new jobs that our economy needs. And so I'm very hopeful that we'll get something done this year.
How many businesses are a part of your coalition?
Well, the Latino Coalition represents the interest of 3 million Hispanic-owned businesses in the United States. We have 1 million businesses in our database that we're communicating with on a regular basis. And by the way, those numbers are growing very fast. Demographers think that those numbers could double every 5 years. So if we have 3 million right now, we could have 12 million Hispanic businesses within 10 years. And those businesses are spread all across the country, not just in big states, but in all states.
And would you say that it is a very high-ranking concern among small business owners, the state of healthcare?
No doubt about it. When I was at the SBA and we would poll businesses about what their critical areas were, the number one issue for small businesses was healthcare. A lot of people don't realize that. And the reason is that small businesses would say, look, you know, if we were part of a union or an employee at a corporation or work for a government, healthcare is taken care of for us. But if you're a small business, good luck. You're in it on your own. You're going to get double-digit increases every year, whether you use the coverage or not. There's less and less choice. And so there's a big, big problem because, you know, it's something that they need to offer for their employees. And it's something that helps them keep employees happy and attract new employees. And without it, it can be very devastating. If a business owner loses one of their key employees, or the business owner themselves gets sick or has an operation, that can devastate the small business. If they don't have health coverage, the claims could be hundreds of thousands, if not millions of dollars, and they could wipe out the business. So small businesses, and remember, 99% of all business in the United States is a small business. That's about 27 million companies in the United States. They say, look, if we're so important to the economy, if we're the engine that's fueling the economy, why is it that we're the only group that really doesn't have access to good coverage or affordable rates? And you know what? They're right. That problem is also very large in the Hispanic community. Hispanic community is 50 million people. It's the fastest growing segment of the population. It's the largest minority, but it's also the most uninsured or underinsured population out there. So both of these groups, which are very, very important to our economy and to our future, really need access to good health care, and they don't have it right now.
How do you feel about the public option?
Well, I mean, I think depends. You know, public option has kind of become this, you know, term that a lot of people describe, but it means different things to different people. We were just talking a little while ago, and that is if you have a population that maybe is 10% of the country that's contributing 80% of the cost, maybe there should be an option for them. And so instead of trying to, scrap the system that we have, that in some ways is still the best system in the world, why don't we pay attention and maybe carve out those people that are uninsured or chronically ill? And maybe there should be some kind of an option for them. If we're talking about that's one thing. If we're talking about a complete government takeover of the healthcare system, a single payer, well, I think there's a lot of people in the country, a lot of business owners who get very, very nervous about that because they feel that that's going to diminish the quality that they have. It's going to lead to rationing. And it's just not a system that they favor. So I think it depends on what you mean by public option.
Do you think it's possible that a health care reform bill will pass in this climate?
That is the $64,000 question. I think there was a window last year to be able to pass something, but the longer that it's taken, the more entrenched both sides get. We talked to a very prominent political leader yesterday, and he was very concerned that we wouldn't have the votes right now in Congress to pass something. And so that's sad because I think we're close. We should get something done. It'd be nice if we could just coalesce around that quote-unquote 80% that we already agree with and get that done and then go back after the 20%. But a lot is going to be determined over the next few weeks, and I'm hoping these leaders do the right thing and really pass something that will benefit everybody.
How would you advise President Obama at this moment then?
Well, I would never presume to advise the President of the United States. I work for a President of the United States, and usually the advice is coming from the other side. But I would say that if we really are that close, and if everybody can agree on the majority of the provisions, then let's do that. And let's not, hold out and say we got to do the whole thing or nothing at all, because I think that we'll pay the price for that.
Thank you so much for speaking with us.
Thank you.
Mr. Hector Barreto. Thank you.